Let's talk about anger, or rage bait. I'm just kidding. Not rage bait, just anger. Today's episode is how to work through your anger. And the second title to it is Anger Has to Go Somewhere. That's the truth. That's the truth that a lot of people push away. It doesn't just go away when you're angry. Just because you tell yourself to calm down. It doesn't just vanish like that. It doesn't vanish because you stayed quiet. It needs a place to go. Anger changes and needs a direction. It shows up in your body. It shows up in your tone. It shows up in your decisions. It shows up in your sleep. And it shows up in your relationships. And when it doesn't have a directed place to go, it will go inward and impact your health inward. My friend Evan from Europe, he talks about the poison honey jar. The poison honey jar is anger. Is that it tastes sweet. When you're angry, if you're a hothead and you're getting angry all the time, it tastes sweet. But it has just enough, a little bit of poison to kill you slowly on the inside, to damage your heart, to impact your nervous system, to impact your body, to impact your adrenals, all of the above. It is the poison honey jar over time. Okay? Is that when you are getting angry, there's a cost to it. First of all, there's a cost to getting angry because of the fact you're getting hot-headed with somebody. But the cost is it can be impacting your health over time. That poison honey jar concept comes in. So that's what I want to bring out. When you're coming across with people and you're being very short, that can impact your body. Or you can distance yourself, push people away. Or it comes out as sarcasm. Your words were a lot more nastier than they actually were intended to be. Or it comes out as overthinking at night when you decide to replay everything at 2 o'clock in the morning. When everything is finally chilled out, your brain is trying to go to sleep, but you replay the conversations because you lost control of it in the daytime. So you just keep replaying it. And over time, guess what? It's going to impact you. First of all, the anger is going to build up, but it's going to impact your health. But it's not just stress. It's unprocessed energy that's sitting inside your body and it's got nowhere to go. It has nowhere to go. Then what happens is even worse than that, is that anger goes inward. You start to question yourself. Why am I like this? Why do I keep reacting like that? Why can't I just let it go? And then it becomes a cycle, like a hamster on a wheel. It feeds itself. The thought creates the emotions. Emotions create the reaction. Reaction reinforces the thought, and you keep going, and you get more and more angry. The more you say, I am angry, the more anger is generated. And nothing really stops. So the anger doesn't go away, it just keeps compounding with interest. It compounds, but without any direction. So you know what happens? It controls you. It controls you instead of trying to tell you something. Because anger is information. All of our emotions are information. You know, if I take a pin and I prick my finger, that's pain. Pain is information, and so is emotions. Emotions are trying to tell us something. That's where people miss it. The anger is not the only problem here. It's trying to tell you something. It's trying to send you a message. It's showing you what matters, that something matters here. It shows you where something was crossed or someone crossed a line, for example, or where something feels off in a relationship or you didn't speak, something was unspoken. It's information. So the issue is never the feeling itself. The issue is what are you going to do about it next? Because if you don't direct it, it will direct you. I've had experiences in my own life where if I was really angry, I would start doing like push-ups. I would hit the ground immediately and start pumping out push-ups like crazy. And you know, it was pretty amazing. It really was. You know, I work out regularly, but I've never channeled the emotion that way. I started channeling the emotion into the heavy bag as well, hitting a heavy bag and driving force into it, right? Being able to put it in something productive. putting it in development. So that's where it gets interesting. So what do we do? What do we do? Because if we don't direct it, it will certainly, of course, direct you. So what do we do with it? Well, you have to be able to interrupt it. You have to be able to catch it and catch it early, and this does take practice. Catching yourself before you're getting angry is a practice. Here's a few things you do. The prefrontal cortex of the brain is the part of the brain that has to do with impulses. So if someone were to snap or explode or go into a rage, it's that prefrontal cortex that's been completely, overridden. Basically, a person acted off of their impulses and didn't really slow down. The very first thing you want to understand is anger is speed. Let me say that again. Anger is speed. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, when you slow down your speech, that will tap into the prefrontal cortex of your brain, and that will calm you down. Slow down your speech, slow down your thinking, and when you do a full lung capacity breath and a hold, so it's a full lung capacity breath, hold for 3 count, and then release it before even speaking. Very important. Before you even utter a word, get used to that. Speak slowly. Put spaces in between your words. That speech will tap you into the prefrontal cortex as well, allowing you to slow down. So very important. Very important. Okay? Slow yourself down. Slow down your body movement. Inhale that full lung capacity breath, hold it for a 3 count and release it, and speak slowly. Take pauses in your speech. This will hijack the PFC and you'll be able to calm down quick. Now, there's a few ways we have to consider our own self-talk, like what we say to ourselves out loud or what we say inside of our mind. We have to be able to catch it. We got to catch it early. We got to notice that because you're going to get a tight chest. Your thoughts are going to be faster. Anger is faster. Your patience is going to be shorter. So you don't argue with it. You don't resist it. You don't try to justify it. You interrupt it. Okay, that full lung capacity breath, 3 count hold. You name it. And there's a couple ways to name it. I'm going to give you healthy ways, and I'm going to give you some ways that are kind of unhealthy. I am angry. That attaches the anger to your identity and actually increases the amount of anger. So it's making your anger worse. I am feeling anger. It's a little bit more distancing from that anger. But my favorite one is anger is here. Anger is here. That alone creates some space. That space acts like a container for what comes next. So what do I mean by that container? Well, you have space. You slow down enough that you're able to pause, have enough space, and you're going to fill in what happens next. All right, so that becomes a container for what you put into it. So what do I mean to elaborate with that is that when you create space with that, you get to replace that anger with what was going to happen into something else. You get to channel it into a different place. Okay? You could channel your anger into being assertive, speaking up for yourself. So you don't have to leave the space empty. Empty space fills with old patterns. So you have to replace it. You have to replace it with what does this situation need right now? What energy does this situation need right now? Does it need me to get the hell out of there and move? Does it need me to be more clear with what I'm saying because they're not understanding me and I'm frustrated because they're not understanding me? Does it need truth? Does it need boundaries? Does it need to be expressed in a direct and straightforward way instead of an argumentative one? This is where it all begins. This is where you get to create a container and fill it for what happens next. So anger without any type of direction will become damage. The poison honey jar. It's a jar of honey with poison in it. It's just enough poison to slowly kill you, damage your body. So yeah, anger without the direction becomes damage. Anger with direction becomes discipline, and it becomes groundedness when you become grounded. So that's the interesting part. You stop using anger against people. You start to simply move through it and channel it. You start to notice those patterns instead of constantly reacting to situations. So the same situations that trigger you, well, guess what? Those are the same conversations that also drain you emotionally. And those are the same boundaries that keep getting crossed. And the same boundaries that get crossed are the ones that you didn't speak about. Or maybe you didn't realize that boundaries were half speaking and half action. So instead of exploding, you have the option to respond differently. You get to choose action over reaction. You can be assertive without going full-blown angry. So you can move your body. And if that means leaving, you leave. You can speak directly and clearly. You can take a moment. And that's something you can do, by the way. It's very valuable. You can say, I need a second. I need a second. Before we continue, just give me a second here. And that buys you enough of a 5-second pause to really think and go from there. Now, if they're a person that will honor that 5 seconds or 10 seconds for you to grab a hold of yourself, if they will honor that, then that's good. It will move the situation forward. If they're a person that will poke and prod at that, you have the right to get the hell out of there. Okay? And in terms of self-defense, you have the right to defend yourself as well. Should you need to? Should it be justified? Absolutely. Because there's anger with justification, there's anger without justification, right? So you need to move and leave, speak directly. You can do all that. You just need enough time to get back into control emotionally, and slowly something beautiful happens. That anger is present, it's here. The energy doesn't really go away, but it becomes usable. It becomes focus. It becomes strength. It becomes the ability to say no without guilt. It becomes the ability to walk away without getting into a fight. It becomes the ability to hold your ground without needing to prove a single damn thing. So you start to realize something very simple. Like, you were never really this person that's trying to get rid of anger. Anger is here. You were trying to move through it and stop it from ruining your life and ruining your friendships, ruining your health. So self-talk is another portion of it, because anger always speaks. It says things like, this is unfair, this shouldn't happen to me, I can't believe this is happening again, people don't respect me, or I'm in this relationship and can't get out, right? And if you don't interrupt that inner voice, that inner cycle, that inner dialogue, it becomes your reality. So you don't argue with it. You don't fight it. You simply redirect it. Okay, why am I learning this? Okay, what is this trying to tell me? How do I respond better next time? And over time, things start to change. Learning to hold composure is a practice. Anger still shows up, but holding composure is a practice. But it doesn't have to take you over. It's information. It's not your identity, it's just info. That's all it is. And you've been reacting to the info for a long time. So it becomes this little message, this little signal, instead of a sentence of communication that you can speak with other people. So when you start keeping things inside of you, keeping that anger inside of you, it starts to impact your health. The poison honey jar. How sweet it is, right? So we know that anger is like that jar of honey with the poison that's mixed into it. It keeps you coming back. So people that are rage addicts and angry all the time, it keeps them coming back. That's the honey in it that keeps them coming back. It feels good. It feels powerful. It feels justified just for that moment in time. And you know what? The anger makes you feel strong, makes you feel ego and in control. And it gives you the energy when you're tired. And of course, it helps your confidence when you're afraid. It is like any other emotion. It's up to you how you use it. But that's the honey. The poison is what comes next. It's not all at once. It's a little by little. A little today, a little tomorrow, a little next year, a little next month. It's okay. Just a little more poison, right? That's why anger is dangerous. It doesn't kill you in just one explosion, although it has to several people, but it does wear your body down over time, because every time you get anger, when you're full of anger, your body prepares for a fight. So your heartbeat gets fast, your blood pressure goes up, your muscles starting to tighten, stress hormones go throughout your body, your nervous system goes into survival mode. And that's useful when you have to defend yourself or escape a burning building. But it's not useful when you're in traffic arguing online or replaying thoughts at 2 a.m. about how you were betrayed and screwed over by your partner. So you're fighting the same battle in your head for the 100th time. That's what's really the hard thing to understand. So the poison honey jar, it's going to impact, the poison that's in the jar is going to impact your high blood pressure, your sleep. It's going to give you headaches. It's going to give you digestive problems. It's going to make you more tired, more fatigued. It's going to increase your stress overall, and you got a greater risk of heart trouble as a result. Your heart was designed to speed up when needed, but it wasn't made to stay there all the time. And the same is exactly true for your nervous system. Your anger is like a revving car engine. And once in a while, no problem, okay, it's an expression. And it can be expressed healthily or unhealthily. But the poison honey jar wears you out. And it doesn't mean that anger is bad, but it has a purpose. It needs to be directed. It tells you that something matters and something maybe was ignored. It tells you that a boundary was crossed. So you got to keep in mind, the poison takes time. The honey always tastes sweet at first. But here's the deal. People get addicted to it. Just like they're addicted to adrenaline. Adrenaline seekers. People that are into that. It can impact your relationships, and it can impact your mental health. Have a great day. See you in the next episode. Don't forget to check out my YouTube, the Voices of Victory channel. And feel free to come on board over there, because we are constantly putting out exclusive content over there, and the channel is growing astronomically. It's growing organically and slowly and astronomically. Have a great day. Take care.